Matchup alert for me again, 0 and 8. Those are guys to watch on defense. They're going to start out of a base kind of, we'll call it a 3-4, but it's really just a 5-man front. They do a good job, in my opinion, of when you're not in nickel, they'll get you and even when you're in nickel, they'll get a 5-man front. And they really want to get one-on-one matchups so they can see if they can win at any particular weak spot on your offensive line in the pass game. But we'll see here. They're going to run this kick play. I think I showed this from both sides. It's an old school play. Basically, everybody comes down and they're just waiting for that safety that corner who's sitting on the overhang. We'll see it from the sideline. Maybe we won't see it from the sideline copy. Did I not put it in there? Gosh darn, I'm stupid. So the point of this kick play is you bring everybody down. You can see the Bears. The Bears are going to run a little bit different than everybody else right now, just given who they have at quarterback and trying to protect that guy. But they did win the game last week. So they go 2 tight ends here. And really, the kick play is just designed to force the corner who's still off the screen to come down and make a play at the line of scrimmage. And the thought process is they're never going to – most of these guys, unless you're, Jalen Ramsey did this, Richard Sherman did this, but close down, get to the line of scrimmage, near hit forward, and really make that tackle for a 1-yard gain and not a 5 to 10-yard gain. So you can do this against these guys. What you find against all teams, where the Rams are included in this, is motion – and all this disruption really creates some softness in their defense, and they'll back up. Like, their first instinct is to go backwards. So now I had to put this in here. So if anybody in Green Bay, if this looks familiar, it should, because we ran this formation 16 times a game one year. This is a 96 power load out of green right tight. So we got Bubba, we got the big man Kevin Berry, we got Boogie and Amon in the backfield. And the Bears should be banned for running this play, man. First of all, they suck at it. And second of all, man, this is our play. This is an absolute nonsense. So you're going to see the guard pull, you're going to see the fullback. And you see what I think this is Young on that side. He just decides enough is enough and just takes this tight end and causes a complete car accident. And this is what I like about these guys. They're just physical. They're not messing around. And they end up turning this into a 1-yard gain. Now, we start out in a tight bunch look, and all they have is 14 is the old tight end. He's actually the old tight end for LA. What's his name? Doesn't matter. But so they're in 11 personnel. So look at the spread and the distribution of play in the spacing when you go to 11 personnel, or you spread everything out, even in a gun look. So you got that tight end a little bit wider, so you got him a yard off the tackle on our left, the offense's right side. Look what it does to the spacing of those outside backers. I mean, you cannot find an easier box to run in. So they run the draw. 51 actually makes a nice play here. But you can see why they're giving up 5 yards just from a gap scheme perspective. Now, I'll say this. I really like the way they play their 3-man line. I'll show you here. They do a good job, and the Packers are going to have to do, I think, a better job. Now, this is a 51 front, and they'll do this out of nickel when they want to stop the run. I think this is a better defense for them because of this. They do a good job on these doubles, and this is a double pull play. I'm showing you the wrong play for the point I'm trying to make. So let's start that over. So on the 51 front, one thing they do, these young guys, they can take advantage of kind of their aggressiveness, right? So this is an option read by Caleb Williams. Going to pull the backside guard, backside tackle, handoff, and if the defensive end goes with a running back, it's free reign. And really, he shouldn't be chasing because everybody and their mother's over on the other side of the football waiting for this play to play out. And Caleb Williams can run for a quick 5-7 yards. Now, this is what you like. So 27 is Tre'Davious White. He came from Buffalo, good football player. When you can motion to a lot of ISO looks, and all I mean by that is their motion, when they go away from like a double to a trips look, at least against these guys, and you got to remember the wide receiver core for the Chicago Bears is very good. And they would try to isolate White either on either one of their star receivers. And so you can pick up some of this stuff and understand they're going to run zone to one side, they're going to run man and match on the other, and really take advantage of the one-on-one situations. Obviously, right here, Caleb is going to throw a lot of checkdowns. They've got some bracket cover top, but you're going to get singled up on the outside. opportunities abound for our guys. I think it's fantastic. What I'm really excited about is betting money on sports. And I can do that with Bet Online. Bet Online is the world's most trusted betting platform, your number one source for everything football. Bet Online has every stat, every matchup, and even live odds and spreads to bet on during the games. Think you know your stuff? Get in on our $200,000 mega contest and pick 5 games against the spread every week for your chance at weekly prizes and a share of a $200,000 prize. When the game's over, head on over to our online casino and get in the game of blackjack or poker or unwind one of our over 150 slots games. Head to the website today to get on the action. Bet online where the game starts. This is an interesting play. So numbers, look for this early. So they go motion and then they're motioning to empty. So what's that trigger? So for a lot of teams, that triggers that linebacker all of a sudden is going to trigger and make a rush for it. Now this is kind of like a shovel pass play, excuse me, that you don't see very often. So you don't blame this guy. He looks like Keystone Cops a little bit when he tries to go through. But look for this early. So they're trips and they go from the backside. So they really had a 2-receiver side on the top of the field because you count that running back out of the backfield. So he motions over and they go quads to one side, empty backs. So they send the linebacker, but just look at the numbers out here to the bottom of the screen before they move. That leaves 3 players, including, and one of them is the outside linebacker, for 4 receivers. So impossible situation right there. Look for the Green Bay Packers to run that formation and get something different out of this play. Very easy to run a swing pass or run a quick screen there. Nice shovel there, though. Here. Pre-snap reads. Why am I showing this? So they can tell already that this linebacker has stepped out an extra step, meaning that he's going to go man on this tight end. And this is what's important with having, versus Caleb Williams, having Jordan Love in the backfield. You got to be able to make this pre-snap read. Now, I think I showed the ends of this. Maybe I don't, but that linebacker steps out an extra step to guard that tight end. That tells you that he's going to be matched up against that player. And they're back as they run the wheel here. So they go flat to wheel. Now, he doesn't throw this ball, but look how open the tight end is at the bottom of the screen. Now, unfortunately, I think they give up the sack here. And this is what you like to see, I think, if you're a Rams fan, is this 5 down look. Like this is, there's 2 ways to look at this. If you think you have a soft spot with the offensive line, the Rams, this is not a sustainable route for you. In other words, just lining up 5 and going 5 down, because oftentimes when you go 5 down, the defensive line, only 1 or 2 guys has a 2-way go. A lot of guys just want to stay in their lane at this point. So, maybe that nose tackle has a 2-way go on the center, and certainly maybe the 3 techniques have a 2-way. But if you start rushing, C gap, B gap, either A, C gap, B gap again on the other side, or B gap, C gap on the other side, the rushes kind of become robotic because you don't have as much space. It turns into a lot of bull rushing, collapse in pockets, so it gives you a little more time. Now, if you don't, on the other hand, if you feel like you have a matchup issue, which I just don't think they do based on their 2 best players right now on the outside, are probably not going to beat our tackles, then you got to feel pretty good if you're Jordan Love and the Packers that if they're going to rush 5 and drop 6, that's a much better situation for you. Having said that, they obviously get in here late on the guard, but that's because I think a lot of that's because Caleb Williams had the wheel right open on the left and he didn't even look at it. So this is what I was going to show before, and I screwed up. The double teams on their down linemen don't get a lot of vertical movement. In other words, I think they do a really good job going back here. So they're in their 51 here. That's out of a base with 2 4 eyes. And you just see they do a really nice job here of giving those linebackers room to maneuver. So nobody's coming up on those linebackers, and there's space between the linebackers and the defensive tackles because those guys really aren't getting moved off the ball, particularly the guy on the backside on the single block. So it just gives you opportunities to swarm, right? And you can attack at the line of scrimmage. So I think that's something that they do well. You want to get, in my opinion, you want to get them in that 51 or that look or that 3-4 look and run a ton of like your gap stuff. But if you're trying to get those doubles, I think those guys are pretty good at handling the double teams. That might be able to get them more horizontal and make some more cuts with Josh Jacobs, but just straight, medium zone double team looks, I think I think that's what they're very good at. So they bring five. They got problems with space here with their deep drops. You see that safety's already 15 yards deep and backing up and up and up. So they run the screen game here. And, certainly we're a good screen team. Their linemen don't really even get up before the back. It's just a question of getting those guys out of the way. So